It's a really, really hot streak phase that we're looking at now.
Well, that's the real question for me, is it? Is it going to be the hot streak phase, or is it going to be Vitality able to pick up the win here today? We're going to dive straight into Nuke. Looks like we're already underway with the pistol round. ZywOo sitting here in the cutout behind Vent does get knocked over by coldzera, which prompts Apex to drop down. No idea that coldzera was sitting behind the silos, and now it's a 2v1 for Shox.
See what he's going to go for in this round. Doesn't have a kit available to him, so he's just going to flank through that ramp room. You do see the bomb dropped in towards lower, while Rain just mines this vent. We'll definitely have a duel with Shox, but this is an opportunity for Shox to make this a 1v1. Rain does just get away in time, though, so he's going to make his way down the vent. Does make noise, though. Runs straight into Rain, and that's all she wrote. Burst fire at that close range. What can you really do? Nice little pistol for FaZe, who I'm assuming probably picked Nuke here. I mean, we didn't get to see the vetoes, so I'm just going to double check on that one now.
I've got it. I'm going to get it in a second for you, Pilly.
Okay.
Yeah.
No worries.
It's not on HLTV yet, but I'll be told, and I will
FaZe have been
communicate.
picking Nuke a lot, so
Yeah.
I'm assuming that this is probably their pick.
Well, we can see in the top left there, they've got the FaZe pick on the map, so I would have to make the assumption that
and
that
they're
is
starting
correct.
on the T side.
Yes, yes. And they've started well. They've got the pistol round. That's exactly how you want to kick things off on Nuke.
100%, you know, that's going to get their economy kick-started. That's going to really keep Vitality in check and potentially get ZywOo that AWP a little bit quicker. But this is going pretty well for Vitality. It's a 2 for 2 so far, and they have actually made their way down the vent, which is going to give them a lot more retake potential in through decon and windows.
All right, ZywOo, let's see if he can do anything going out of the smoke here. If he indeed does end up coming out of the smoke, which for now he hasn't. It's onto RPK. Actually might be able to get coldzera there, but elects not to. As coldzera takes his head off, Brokey there, finishing things off too. So pretty straightforward for FaZe. They do keep the 2 rifles alive, which is nice to see. And for Vitality, obviously, it's another round they're going to have to play catch up with. I will just update everyone. The map pool here is going to be Nuke, choice by FaZe. Vitality chose Overpass, and Inferno being the 3rd map in the pool.
I like the choice of Overpass there for Vitality. That's going to go a little bit wider on the map pool, and maybe not a map that FaZe can sort of have as many reps on, potentially. Although, I mean, going towards Nuke is already a pretty big departure from the old FaZe roster, who didn't really play this map too much, and when they did, they were trying to add it into their map pool with very, very limited success, if any success at all. But now that seems to be a completely different case, because lately they've been looking really damn good on Nuke here. And maybe they'll surprise us on Overpass as well, having put work into that with this new roster, potentially.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one for Vitality. Probably wouldn't have expected to see the Overpass pick. So let's find out what they're going to be able to throw at FaZe here. Obviously not in this round though. ZywOo, just the pistol there. Not going to get too much done, but RPK at least does hit the headshot onto Rain with the Deagle. So it's a 4v4. I don't think the gun's going to be retrievable right now for Vitality. FaZe have quite a congregation of members over there.
Every kill that Vitality can get, though, in this situation is going to keep FaZe's economy in check.
FaZe on the T side, though. Oh, well, it's starting to get a little expensive, you know? I was going to
Yeah.
say, it's not too bad if they
kill
lose 1 or
here,
2
if
guns.
Nico doesn't check. There you go, beautiful. Clears out the angle. All the I's dotted and T's crossed.
That's
Oh
a
my god,
great shot.
RPK. What a start to the game from the man.
6
tank
and 2.
mode.
And he's lost pistol and has faced 2 anti-ecos. And he's 6 and 2. Can you believe that?
It's crazy. Putting in all the numbers. And this is exactly what you said.
Oh,
Hold on,
where
wait
was
a
that from?
second.
Shox! Oh! He was up on heaven, and RPK gets up there as well, and they've actually won the round.
Oh,
Vitality.
it's an upset.
Like, you got to wonder where on earth that has come from.
It's just Shox hiding in the rafters. Finds the perfect timing. RPK multi-fragging. Have to say, a bit curious for Brokey to take that re-peek straight onto ramp, but at the same time, you're going up against a pistol. Might have wanted to clean that one up a little bit cleaner before RPK can potentially body shot you 3 times at that distance with the dig, but couldn't get it done in the end, and follows it up with another sharp shot, and all of a sudden, you know, RPK's in tank mode. He's going to steamroll your whole team, and FaZe, they're going to have to force up into this one. 2 Kriegs can get 3 pistols and a couple of grenades, and all of a sudden you're cooking. Could definitely come away with the win here on FaZe. I mean, you talk about a roster where you've got literally 5 players who can all pop off and get an impactful 3 or 4K. If only 2 of them have Kriegs, that's, you know, surplus requirements. Only one of them needs a Krieg, technically. If all goes to plan. Don't know if Vitality's going to let that happen. And it does look like they're taking this round relatively seriously because ZywOo's got himself an AWP. Pretty sure if they were not expecting a force, he would have purchased something else.
Let's see what Nico's going to be able to do with that SG. Same for Brokey, of course. So a bit of utility used on outer from FaZe, but they're not particularly interested in that area of the map. They're heading towards inner.
They're going to take this really simply and probably just a straight contact out ramp. Out they go. ZywOo's a bit out of position here.
Let's get back down okay. He's got help from Shocks. Now control of ramp for FaZe as they start to make their way up to heaven. RPK will be watching that, and he is the danger man in this kind of a situation for FaZe. He's been tapping heads all day long, even yesterday. So for FaZe, they slow things down a little bit. They have a lot of map control here, but what are they going to do with it?
They're waiting for Nico to come in through door or hut and just find that opening so that they can explode out in towards upper. There is so many players for Vitality here.
coldzera's grabbed one. Shocks in a position to make something happen. A great flashbang. ZywOo and RBK have combined on the A bomb site, but Apex falls as well. And Nico, he's just too surrounded by those Vitality players. FaZe put in a good shout there, a good attempt, but just not able to break through that wall.
Yeah, so that's FaZe going to be put into the 2K margin where they will have to take a bit of a save here. Probably can't upgrade too many of the pistols, although Nico, who had a little bit more cash than everybody else, does get himself a Deagle. And it's not too bad of a purchase in this scenario. You can see Vitality, everyone's a little bit on the poor side, except for old mate RPK, who did actually get numerous kills with the Deagle in the second round, and then also grabbed himself an extra rifle, so he's got a little bit more cash than everybody else. And let's see what FaZe are going to do. No quick plays to try and get a bomb plant down, which would help them with their utility in the following round. Instead, it's just slow and steady. Probably just waiting for Nico to try to create some kind of an opening. If he does go down, someone else can pick up his Deagle, and there's any number of players on this FaZe roster who can use a Deagle to great effect.
So far, Vitality not really giving them those opportunities.
Yeah, they're just biding their time. Haven't really burned too much utility, honestly. That's something you'll see is a little bit different between some of these better teams with a bit more experience. Oh my god. That's a great shot.
Well, Apex now has to take that challenge, and with the A1S, maybe a little difficult if they start streaming on in there. ZywOo not really going to be able to help him out here unless FaZe decides to swing for some reason, and Apex will back his way into the A bomb site. So ZywOo does end up picking up one of the kills onto Rain, has helped things out quite substantially. Equalizes the numbers. And Apex, he's got so many angles to watch here. Perhaps better off just tucking himself in the cutout here, which it looks like he's going in the direction of FaZe, however. Walking on outer, and that is exactly where Vitality is waiting. Olaf gets his first kill on the board after 5 rounds, but not really enough to do too much. Not to trouble the scorers here of Vitality. Up 3-2 now, and starting to build the economy a little bit here on the CT side.
With only a Deagle invested though, 2 kills taken away from Vitality, who were already pretty poor before that round even ever kicked off. They're definitely going to be down in the dumps in terms of the money, and that means that FaZe can buy up here, get a fair bit of utility, maybe not all the bells and whistles they're looking for, and probably not an AWP. Olaf Master has to go down to a Mac 10, but this is still a very resettable Vitality. Alex in particular, a little bit lower on the cash. Quick one straight down the vent from Olaf Meister. That's going to be a very key position early on in this round. You actually see ZywOo down and lower right now. Looks like he's quite aware of that, and Shocks as well.
At the moment, not paying too much heed to Olaf Meister, although ZywOo is now watching the angle.
They've gone for a full retake on lower, which is why you see some aggressive positioning in towards lobby here. They're trying to find some kind of information, try to find a pick, because they have essentially just lost that lower control. And now you see the smoke on outside, try and send Nico across in towards Secret. It's going to add another dimension to that push and give FaZe an opportunity to maybe end this round by contacting ramp. That's going to be a nice deflection of the aggression by Rain. You can see Vitality, they know they've sort of lost control here.
ZywOo, though, is going to start to peg things back a little bit if he can find Olaf Meister, which is not an easy task. That's really going to open up a little bit for Vitality. A quick push from Apex, knows that he has to do something, and has indeed. It's Brokey to go down.
And now you see the difference from Vitality. You know, they did lose that lower control, and you see them get so active, try to find some information, try to find a pick on the map. But as soon as they get that man advantage, it's back into a more defensive formation, just sitting on that upper bomb site, trusting the crossfire. Obviously, a lot of emphasis on ZywOo just hiding in lower here with the AWP. But where's FaZe Clan go at this point? Looking like they're regrouping in towards lobby. It's either one of two things. It's a contact out ramp and meet up with Olofmeister in lower, or it's going to be Olof flying up that vent and trying to hit that upper bomb site. Looks like the latter.
Oh, is it Alex flying down the vent? Well, it certainly is. Very quickly indeed as Olofmeister takes his head off, and now with 10 seconds on the clock, FaZe have to make their move. Apex falls RPK though. Does hold strong, and Nico won't be able to get the bomb down here. So ZywOo, all he has to do is hide. Nico can't win the round. That's 4 up for Vitality. It's an expensive round, but it's a round nonetheless.
It's great work there from FaZe, though, to keep Vitality honest. Keen to see if they are going to invest in a round like this, considering they had one player surviving who won't get any money. They even had some players who could potentially purchase some creeks and armor. Would be a similar sort of buy to what you saw in the second round. And it is one that could still definitely damage the economy of Vitality here. There you go. They will purchase up. It's going to be 3 Kriegs, 2 SMGs. Do have Vitality very low on cash here. Definitely resettable. It's the fast smokes on outside.
Yeah, Shox in a great position here with the XM. He gets the first. Hides back away through the smoke. Olofmeister might be in a dangerous position there, but
how has he got away with that? Excuse me?
Yeah, I don't know. No one from FaZe even decided to fire a shot in that smoke, so
they just let that happen. He just dove in.
Dodge, dip, duck, dive, and dodge.
Just kills Rain for free and then pieces it.
Yeah. ZywOo's going to post on the angle now as well, and that is not looking good for FaZe at all. If you're just going to run straight at ZywOo without dealing with him, obviously, we'll see how it turns out for you. Shox now elects to take the peak, and 15 HP for Brokey at least is able to trade him back down. Still, the numbers are depleting, though, for Vitality. Brokey might have something to say about it, though. Gets ZywOo down low, can't finish him off, and not expecting the peak. And it's all onto Nico.
You've tagged him to 6 HP. Only ZywOo re-peaks with the CZ there. Yeah. He knows he's good enough to do it.
Nico hasn't really had much of an impact on this round at all. He did take control of Secret. ZywOo's waiting for him.
You can't catch him off. He's just too clued on.
Yeah.
That was a ridiculous round that FaZe lost that in. Just how does Shox go straight through the smoke with an XM, kill someone for free, and get away with it? I don't understand. Does not compute.
7 rounds in and already 2 tactical pauses called by FaZe as well. Obviously, a lot to talk about.
FaZe have been front running in a lot of these games that they've been winning, I will say. And I have to put it out there. How are they going to deal with, you know, a Vitality that's getting in their face, being disruptive? You know, Shox is just running in, no respect with that XM. You see Vitality very, very active on this CT side. You can see as soon as they lose some map control that's important to them, they get in there and they start to make some pushes, look for some information, look for some duels, and it hasn't really seemed like FaZe has been too ready for that. It seems like they're pretty used to setting the pace, and apart from Rain dealing with that aggression the first time around, they haven't really been too fantastic at making it happen.
Not a lot to play with here for FaZe. Pistols and armor. Not a huge amount of presence, though, on outer for Vitality, which is where FaZe is.
Shox is, again, in radio room.
This time, not with an XM, unfortunately. Although...
another gun that can make lots of cash.
Indeed.
Is the wall of smoke on outer. You can see Alex is already down in lower. He's dropped the vent. He's got a Molotov to be able to stop the push down.
I think ZywOo's going to get a pick here.
Potentially so. Yeah, there you go. Could be a drop down the vent as well to support Alex out, but he's not going to really need it until he jump spots someone or drops that incendiary.
And that's so much information, though, for Vitality. They've seen everyone going down, so they'll be well accustomed to what they need to be doing here. Alex waiting for Nico, spots the head. And there's the jump spot as well, getting the information that the rest of the 3 players are down. Vitality, and they're just not doing a whole lot, and that's fine, right? FaZe are the ones that have to push the issue here, and they just can't push the issue. Now 2 players that they have to deal with in control room. Shox looking to make some cash, but in fact, Brokey and coldzera able to find one apiece. Again, making it at least a little bit of a damaging round for Vitality, but it's still probably going to be a round anyway.
As soon as they make a move, though, it's just a retake straight on the windows. Nice dink onto ZywOo, but unless they can follow it up, it's not going to be a kill, and that's the end of the round. Nice reaction from Vitality. They force the push into the windows. As soon as FaZe goes and takes the territory there, it's the double drop down the vent, which essentially sets you up in a situation where you can control where FaZe can and can't go with that player in the vent. You can set up a player in decon to crossfire with ZywOo on ramp, and when you need to put down the bomb on the T side, down in lower there, you're not going to be able to do so with a crossfire like that. Alright, another proper buy round here for FaZe. See what they're going to make of it. Nice nade onto Nico very, very early on. Alex always so good with that utility. Again, it's another early drop down lower from ZywOo. It's going to get active over towards this secret area. It's going to be surely a duel between him and Nico.
Is ZywOo going to keep peeking? Does he keep the progression going? Doesn't look like it. Quite content just to chill for the moment.
I mean, FaZe is not really making any tells anywhere. They've got the one player spamming away in lobby, but that's it. The rest of the map is quiet. There's been no utility expended on outside except for that initial smoke to send Nico across to the T-red there. So now the Molotov into secret to push ZywOo off the line. The wall of smoke to allow Nico to cross. He's going to be backed up by Cold as well. And there's the opener for ZywOo. Gets away with it scot-free.
This has been a great game so far from ZywOo. Hasn't been necessarily flashy.
Surely this is the Annex split now then. And there you go. Nice opening for Brokey as well.
Well, RPK goes down, and he has been a danger man on the A-bomb site. The rest of the job falls now on the shoulders of Apex. Alex there potentially to back him up, but Rain goes down early. And now for FaZe, much more work to be done. Apex starts to double down, shocks up from the vent. But Olafmeister starting to come alive here. But again, not for too long. It's now just Brokey who does get down the vent and might, as a result, get a bomb plant, but still be in a 1v2.
He's got time on his side. He's going to put down the bomb nice and quickly, but ZywOo already hot on his heels, straight into decon. Takes
really
the windows.
open plan.
This is a position where he can get himself 2 1-on-1s if Vitality isn't dotting their I's or crossing their T's correctly.
That'll be what Brokey's looking for. Does get the first, but all the shots just go straight into the wall.
Opportunity missed, and even if he does actually find that 1-on-1 for Apex, you can see ZywOo's got the smoke that he can drop on the bomb. From that point, you know, is Brokey going to be able to spam that position reliably with how many different spots he can defuse in that plant position? Probably not. And that's not even guaranteeing that ZywOo necessarily has to stick the plant. So, was a pretty high percentage, even if it did come down to that 1-on-1 for Vitality to come away with that. Regardless, pretty good effort from FaZe Clan. Considering they lost the opening duel, I love how decisive they were in the mid-round. As soon as they lose that pick right here onto Nico, they instantly just adjust and go straight into an Annex split. Brokey takes matters into his own hands, finds a nice opening, and they've put themselves in a position where the round still was winnable. Sure, they didn't take it, but from a disadvantageous situation, they put themselves in a position where they could have made it happen.
Wow, that's the start. I don't know where Olafmeister and Rain have gotten those kills. That one from Nico straight through a smoke.
I think that was Vitality. They're trying to mix things up. They have the money to back it up, and they did go for that aggression on outside, but instantly punished by a bunch of different players with creeps just posted, waiting for that aggression to come out. That's where FaZe has definitely made up for the one or two times that they haven't punished the aggression effectively enough. Now you can just see FaZe very patient, waiting for a mistake out of Vitality. They're well aware of the huge advantage that they've got at this point. They want to keep as many guns alive as possible because their money's still a little bit on the fragile side. So they're just waiting for Vitality to push and make this round any easier than it already is for FaZe to win. All these players just holding while Nico's looking for information. There's the push into lobby.
RPK really needed to get 2 players there for this round to be doable. But in a 1v3, you don't really back shocks here at all. Yeah,
Nico's getting a ton of information. He's just going to make his way into heaven. You can see the smoke being thrown down into lower. It's not necessarily the committal from Brokey. He's just trying to make noise to force the rotation out of shocks. And I think he's read it perfectly.
Certainly has. It's 3-7. Another one on the board for FaZe, finally as well. That was 7 in a row for Vitality, and now finally a bit of respite for FaZe.
So there you go, Vitality trying to mix things up. That's often what you will see some of these CT teams do. a lot of people have that mentality of, hey, we're already ahead, why not just keep doing what's working? You can see Vitality, they're trying to stay a step ahead of FaZe on their T side by saying, look, we have money to play with in the bank, why not throw something a little bit different in there on outside?
Well, speaking of something a little bit different, double AWP set up here for ZywOo and Shox now. Shox was having a pretty decent day with the AWP yesterday as well, so I don't necessarily disagree with this choice.
RPK's in tank mode, man. Just quietly, you know, plugging away. He's really hitting everything today, and that's a massive, massive difference maker for Vitality. This man is just a brick wall on the CT side sometime, and it hasn't really been necessarily just a brick wall. You know, one-dimensional approach, a passive RPK sits on a bomb site. This man's been pushing pretty regularly for Vitality through hut into lobby and finding the kills pretty consistently.
Not this round, at least not yet. There is a couple of shots being exchanged. RPK's on 6 HP, continues to peak. Didn't really have anywhere to go, and now Nico looks to push the issue. A nice flash from coldzera, and Nico is single-handedly opening up the A bomb site. All of a sudden, Shox is the last alive. Money is cooked now for Vitality.
Absolutely.
And he's lost the AWP.
It's going to be probably just a single eco, especially with how much money Apex has in the bank there. He can be the saver for ZywOo's AWP while the rest of the lads try to put together whatever they can. But even if they buy up into the next one, Vitality, their money's not going to be fantastic. And FaZe, after building up a little bit of a loss bonus and stringing some rounds together, they're starting to put together some serious cash to be able to buy out the rest of this half.
Maybe it took FaZe a little while to wake up today, but now that they're awake, the beast has awoken.
I mean, that's the thing that we say so often when we're watching these Asian CS games, is just like, okay, if they win 2 gun rounds back-to-back, then they can actually reset their opponents and get back into the game. And it almost never happens, because no one's consistent enough to make that happen.
Yeah.
FaZe, that's just 2 really solid T rounds back-to-back, and that's got them straight back in the game and forced Vitality on a reset. Sure, one of those was Vitality getting pretty aggressive and trying to mix it up and pretty much feeding the kills to FaZe, but the second one, they definitely earned that. Just some nice entries in towards that upper bomb site and some great supportive utility there from coldzera.
Pistols only for Vitality now. Apex, I thought, might have a chance with that deagle, but case in point, Rain just obliterates him as soon as he walks around that corner. Seems like in the last few rounds, I mean, the momentum has certainly shifted back in the favor of FaZe, and there's just nothing to be done for Vitality.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're even moving forward into the next round where Apex has spent quite a bit of cash, so there's not going to be that solid AWP buyer on that team. If they want to go for it, maybe it's going to have to be a glass cannon or something like that from Vitality. So the next buy, you know, it's going to be a buy. It's going to be rifles. It's going to be a lot of the things that you want to see on a buy, but you're going to be missing the kits, which might hurt them in the late round probably. You're going to be missing some incendiaries, which can potentially shut down some faster plays from FaZe, which we haven't seen yet. Wouldn't be surprised to see them mix up the pace and go for something like that. And, you know, moving forward, once FaZe gets his 5th round, potentially faces a weaker sort of buy in the next one, they can probably lock that one down. I would be saying, because they're looking pretty impressive at the moment. They're really building up the momentum. That's them in making a really solid half of this on the T side of Nuke. And that's what we saw these EG games looking like. Like the start of that Nuke game against EG, it was back and forth. EG even won that 2nd round bye against FaZe, and they were able to, you know, put up some rounds and really trade things back and forth and make some big plays. But once FaZe got rolling, it seemed like you couldn't stop them. And I think that's what we're starting to see now. They're starting to power up.
Well, first tactical timeout for Vitality. So it's about time, isn't it, really?
There's no real money for an AWP. That's the thing. If Apex hadn't gone down to 2.4k or whatever it was in that previous round, he had 3.7 at the start of that one. That's like 1,300 difference. That's easily enough to drop ZywOo and AWP in this round if he would have wanted it. But he made the decision not to go for that.
Yeah.
So Vitality's not going to have the access to that.
Well, they have a bit to discuss then, don't they? Like, what are we actually going to do in this round with only the rifles, lacking a bit of the utility, which you've already alluded to in the last round?
Not a single kit.
1 incendiary nade. Yeah, they've all got smokes. Majority of them have flashes, but when you compare it to what FaZe is running with here, it's not looking too pretty for Vitality. And this would be the perfect round for FaZe to just literally send it right into the A side, do whatever they want.
Potentially, yeah, because I mean, this is the only Molotov. There it goes. 1 minute 46, it's gone out to be put out. Olaf's gone straight down the vent. He has copped a dink, but still he's made it down there. And just the fact that he gets down there causes the rotation. It causes Shox to have to go straight off of the ramp. Forces the CTs to spread a little bit thinner. If already they didn't have enough factors going against them. No AWP, no kits. They're running out of utility already, and it's only a minute and 30. They only have a couple more pieces of utility that they can potentially use here. And FaZe is going to keep it simple. Looks like the wall of smoke's on outside. They're just going to meet up with Olaf, but that's a massive impact play by Shox. It cleans out that extra player down towards lower, and that's made FaZe potentially second-guess themselves. You can see Brokey going back towards lobby now. Looks like FaZe is going to try to sneak through outside, but ZywOo in the perfect spot.
Doesn't need a AWP to make a difference here. Nico with his back turn. ZywOo can't actually double down. Rain Punch just gets the better of him there. Rain to finish it off. So FaZe do have a numbers disadvantage.
Yeah, it's going to be straight into this Annex split, or potentially try to pressure Heaven and pinch uppers from a couple different angles. Alex is actually getting active now to meet up with Shox to pinch on outside and clear out coldzera potentially.
No, coldzera's going to clean him out. RPK, though, in the meanwhile, did get Brokey, so that could have been the moment for FaZe. If Brokey survives, you put it back to a 3v3, you still have 30 seconds to play with, but now they have to
look at Apex.
Run hell for leather. Apex is going to get one. Rain does get trading. Not sure if he's going to be able to get the bomb down here, though, because Alex, rather, is already down on the bomb site. Yeah, that'll be too easy to finish things off. 8 up for Vitality. I mean, it's not the best of CT halves just yet for Vitality, but if they can bring this to 10, they'll probably end up being pretty happy.
I don't know if they can bring it to 10 is the thing, because, you know, they've reduced their loss bonus just a little bit there. They're going to have to repurchase into that round. Sure, they do have the 2 creeps that they're able to pick up at the end of that, which is, yeah, going to definitely help them in certain positions, like on outside. You don't want to give ZywOo a Krieg. In fact, they're not going to give him a Krieg, which I don't really like that, to be honest. I'd like to see him with the Krieg on outside rather than Alex holding onto it. But depends.
Regardless, a faster play this time from FaZe. We were waiting to see when it was going to come, and now we get to find out whether it'll work. Certainly doesn't seem like it has. Vitality just shutting them out of the A-bomb site. Olafmeister, the last alive here, trying to do as much damage as he possibly can, which could be impactful, you know. If he gets a few more guns out of the picture here, Vitality do have a pretty low economy. Looks like 3 should survive for Vitality and will.
But FaZe, they've done enough heavy lifting in terms of having that loss bonus and putting together some rounds right when their loss bonus was really peaking, to the point where they just have had money for the rest of the half. So they're going to be able to get another buy round here. I have to say, though, Jordan, I didn't believe that Vitality were going to bring it back in the last couple of rounds here, but they're really looking solid to go through and grab that 10th round. They've got, how many Kriegs is that? 3 Kriegs and 2 M4s. It's a pretty strong buy here against FaZe.
Lots of kits, lots of utility as well. Not expecting to see FaZe do anything too quick this round. They've used that one trump card already. Hasn't worked for them. So it's back to the default, back to the standard for FaZe.
Yeah, I think FaZe have looked a little bit less decisive than they may have needed to in some of these late rounds, really running down the clock to the last 30 seconds time and time again. To be fair, they've been put in some pretty difficult positions by Vitality, just constantly getting in their face and changing up their setups. Here we go. Again, it's going to be the attempt at sending Nico across to lower, who's already copped a little bit of damage, and that's prompted the rotate out of Alex, who has got the smoke and the Molotov to be able to delay any kind of a push through lowers.
So Nico should get across okay. Never mind, I lie. Alex is waiting there, and Apex to help out as well. So this has not gone well for FaZe at all.
It's really falling apart for them, and this crossfire is going to make it any easier towards Annex.
ZywOo ready and waiting. Apex looks away at the wrong time, but again, it doesn't matter. The crossfire is too strong for Vitality. 10-5 is where they're going to net themselves at the end of the half. The big question of whether or not that is going to be enough, Pili, we do have to wait and see. FaZe with 5, what do you reckon?
I don't know, I feel like Vitality, there was definitely some rounds where they tried to change things up and FaZe capitalised on it, but overall they were the much more solid team on that half in particular, so I wouldn't be surprised to see them continue that momentum straight forward on the T side.
All right, well, we will find out, of course, in just a little bit. It's time now to head to a quick break. Don't go too far, though. FaZe and Vitality coming back after this.
safe for me, even though we burn from the light I bleed. But she bring me back, not a heart attack could take away all the love I had for you. It bleeds for you, it bleeds again. Oh, you bring me to life. 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 You bring me to life.
Do you want to go fishing or do you want to watch some Counter-Strike? That's a question I think I know the answer to. We'll keep the Counter-Strike on here. FaZe and Vitality as we head into the second half. And Vitality up 10-5. It's a pretty reasonable scoreline. I feel like both sides can kind of take something from that first half. And we should have a pretty banger second half because of it.
Yeah, FaZe have done their due diligence on that T side, getting themselves the 5 rounds, but a lot of those were predicated off the fact that they had a lot of loss bonus and they got the pistol there, so I think Vitality is probably the favoured team at this point in the matchup. Pistol will tell us a lot though.
Oh, RPK is going to try and tell us a lot, and he does! The P250 catches Nico, and Rain still has it dispatched of him, so that takes a lot of time, and Vitality are just barreling their way down into the B bomb site. Olaf Meister from Decon cops the bink to the head, and coldzera now has to creep his way forward. CZ in hand, but not for long. Alex is there and awaiting. And Olaf Meister just gets deleted as well. That is a statement heading into the second half from Vitality.
Yeah, Alex really stepping up there. He was actually having a pretty rough half on the CT side, but had a pretty impactful round, shutting down that outside play from FaZe, and then a nice little pistol from the man. He's up straight back on his horse to bring Vitality a little bit forward. At the moment, though, I mean, Shox has had some impact plays here and there. I think it's really been the ZywOo and RPK show so far for Vitality there. You always wonder who's that second player that's going to step up, but maybe a third player as well for Vitality and help out old mate ZywOo. And RPK certainly having a pretty sick start to this game. See if he's going to continue that on the T side. It's a force out for FaZe here.
It could be interesting. Olaf Meister with the scout. Nico's holding close with the Deagle on outer as well.
Vitality just taking their time. Not peeking into any lines where they can potentially get their heads taken off by a Deagle or a Scout, but this could be perfect timing for Nico if he pushes in from behind on Vitality, who are now executing in towards upper.
I don't know that he's going to get the timing right here. Vitality already making their move, but Rain has gotten 2, and that changes the ball game for Vitality. Olaf Meister as well, a headshot from the Scout. Now Brokey's getting involved, and what? Where has that round gone?
It's all fallen apart. He thought it was all about the Nico flank. Doesn't need to flank if Vitality never get into upper, Jordan.
That's insane. Well, that's a nice way back into the half immediately for FaZe.
That's the second round bye that we've seen. Won by one of these teams, and that's what happens when you just have some of the most talented players in the world on the server.
Yeah.
Give them any kind of a weapon. You know, it's 2019. The game's been out for so many years now. So many players are proficient with all of them at this point. You can make it work with anything you give them. That's exactly what Vitality says. They have invested quite a lot of money into this round here.
Well, you wouldn't be feeling too happy after the last round here, so I can understand that from Vitality. But they have to make something happen because of it.
ZywOo here just ready to throw out that Annex smoke. Here's a Heaven smoke being lined up by Apex there. Rain just reads it perfectly. A very common lineup for that smoke. Alex going to throw it out anyway, and Vitality, they're going to throw utility into upper, but it's actually outside where they're coming through onto Olaf.
Olaf, he's got the Galil in hand and only good enough for one, but Rain there to trade, and he himself gets traded out by Shox, which does give Nico some pause for thought. Deagle in the hand of Shox is still going to be pretty dangerous. Alex creeps his way forward here as well with the CZ, and does know that Brokey's close. Gets the initial headshot, but can't connect any more of the bullets. So now it's just under Shox, and for Vitality, this is not an acceptable result, unfortunately. They haven't got enough out of this round for the investment that they put in.
Potentially 1 or 2 more headshots and you might change your tune there, Jordan. And Shox is not one who is incapable of delivering them. Not quite there. 5 damage from a Deagle. Must have gone through quite a bit of wall.
Yeah.
But I have to agree with you. 3 guns kept alive for FaZe is probably just about where you'd want to be up against a force like that. So with Vitality taking a further eco, if they can be even more convincing in this round and actually close out the anti-eco very, very solidly, then moving forward, FaZe are going to have a pretty good economy to be able to try to close this round gap.
Yeah, definitely looks like we're going to get a long map here on Nuke.
That's what you want. We had some too many blowouts yesterday.
We definitely had a lot
Come
of
on, only
games.
1 series today. This is the one that I would like to be a long one.
Definitely want this to go to all 3. Apex, the Glock dives down. Eco here, not able to deal with the Eco slaw, but Rain is there. Someone had to pick those kills up, and someone had to get those frags. Towards the B bomb site goes Alex. I'm not sure that he's going to have too much luck planting this bomb.
RPK though, he's picked up the M4. Where is he even coming from half the time? The man is just rotating around. Solo on outside, multiple rounds in a row. That round he just comes out squeaky. There you go. He's fragging for Vitality and he's keeping that round nice and expensive for FaZe. They're going to have to reinvest. That is really going to take a bit of a toll on their money. That makes them mortal. Multiple gun rounds in a row, won by Vitality, and that will be a reset on the CT economy. Probably looking at 2.
Oh, yeah. Warps out for Zai Wu. Same for Olofmeister, actually. So, as you say, they're throwing it around a little bit here, FaZe.
Fast cannon. He's usually, I think he's pretty much their primary AWPer. I mean, they don't really have one, but he's the one who's picking it up the most.
Yeah. Well, for Zai Wu, though, not interested in challenging just yet. It's actually Alex with the SG that gets the better of Olofmeister. So
I think that was just spam through Squeaky Door, to be honest, onto Annex. In the position he died in, there was smoke on the door. I'm pretty sure he's just tapping his SG away in lobby there and found a freebie.
One way or another, he's dead. So Vitality do have numbers advantage. This is their opportunity now to really regain some of the control of the map that they probably should have had.
Yeah, it's a smoke onto Annex. You see Coldzera in a very aggressive position up towards door here. Does find the pick onto RPK. Vitality trying to wrap around through Heaven, take control of Warehouse here. And you do see FaZe keeping nice and active. 2 players in towards lower. Got Nico near secret there. Might be having a duel with Alex any second.
Ooh, who's copping some damage there? Rain.
Bit of spam into the Annex position from Shox, and there's the duel down in lower. Alex just backs off though. What is Vitality going to do? They got 35 seconds. They need to make something happen. 1 in towards Heaven. It's probably going to be a crunch onto upper.
Well, time is of the essence now for Vitality. Even to get their players in position is going to take another 10 or 15 seconds.
Oh, what a spot from Cold, though. AWP, there's no one to flank him from lobby as they have control of that on FaZe. He can pretty much have free reign on these players crossing out of Heaven.
He's not obscured either at all, and there goes Apex. That said, Shox was able to cross and does get rid of Rain. Brokey. The 6th sense was not enough this time. And now it's all on Eco. Can't get it done in the 1v3. 12
Alex. That is big brain. He's flanking back around with 25 seconds to go. He could have just gone through Annex, kept it one-dimensional, kept it simple, but he's well aware that FaZe, in a round like that, a lot of these top teams are going to keep active in that 4-on-4 on the CT side. They're not just going to sit in certain corners and wait for something to happen. They are going to get active and push into that lobby area when they're well aware that the T's took outside control. So that's exactly what FaZe did. And Alex, with a lot of trust in his teammates to close that round out there, flanks back through lobby and gets 2 for himself. That puts FaZe on the eco.
Very quick from Zai Wu into Squeaky, but no one peeking. Yeah, and this is now where Vitality can start running away with the game.
For sure. Keep going on this T side, build up some cash. As to say though, the CT and the Deagle need to be avoided as much as possible. You don't want to be seeing Vitality losing any guns here. If anything, you want to see Apex be able to pick up as many of these frags as you can to build up that cash that Vitality have a distinct lack of at this point.
It's pretty desperate times for FaZe, though, when you consider that this is their map pick. And most likely they'll be down 13-8. To come back from that is a rough ask. And then they have to move on to Vitality's choice of overpass, which we're all, I think, eagerly awaiting to see. Shox will creep his way forward here behind the smoke, and FaZe not prompting themselves to push through it just yet. But if they do, ZywOo's hanging around and he's waiting patiently. Here's another opportunity to double down. He won't quite be able to do that. It's actually kind of a massacre there. FaZe had a lot of players.
Yeah. Got sandwiched away.
Just didn't have the weapons that they needed. coldzera's actually got an AWP, and he might be good to
just save it.
Yeah, better off saving it, I think. Vitality may actually end up electing to hunt him down with maybe Apex, or I suppose he could just grab an AK here. Either way, another round for Vitality.
I don't think Vitality can really afford to hunt this down.
Yeah.
If they lose another player here, that's going to be far too costly. And it's not like FaZe is going to lack the money to be able to grab themselves an AWP anyway. Jumping across, though. Beautiful movement. Avoids the AWP shot.
Yeah, good job. You say that they would be able to afford the AWP, and that's up to Brokey at the moment. If they elect to go for it. Bit of a discussion happening now in the FaZe camp, and they will get it. It's a tactical pause, though, for Vitality. They know that they're sort of sitting on the precipice now. This is where they can just take this game by the reins and essentially charge it into a victory.
This round could be the end of the game here, because essentially all it means is that, you know, FaZe is fully invested in this round. Sure, they have the loss bonus to back themselves up, but if Vitality puts themselves on 14, that's potentially a low money situation FaZe is looking at in the next round with that, you know, around that 3K mark. And, you know, unless they want to go for a low buy and stop match point coming out for Vitality, that's where Vitality could really put the pressure on FaZe and grab themselves that match point in an anti-eco before they face their last buy to be able to close out the game. With a 7-round gap, you'd be backing Vitality to close that out every day of the week. So for FaZe to alleviate some pressure on themselves, this is the round they need to pick up. And from that point, that's where Vitality's money is going to start to get very, very shaky, and they can potentially even be reset, which will allow FaZe to close this round gap.
Oh, it's a fast play from Vitality, changing things up, and the court rain initially. So for Vitality, that's off to a banger of a start in this round in particular. Brokey is down toward B. We'll have to deal with Shox, and timing is going to be pretty important here for him.
Shox has been great in these lower duels on the CT side, though, so expect more of the same from the man.
Oh, LaFlexa misses the shot. He'll be punished for it as well. I think that's going to be the hopes now. The map starting to fade away for FaZe. Vitality makes their way down to B. Brokey will get traded out. Numbers advantage now for Vitality, and the bomb plant going down.
FaZe is completely out of position, aren't they?
Yeah, they have so much work to do. Not only to get to the bomb site, but then to also win the clutch. If they even do it, just try and save here, I think, is the play.
Not a whole lot you can do, really, there as FaZe. I mean, they had that one player dedicated into lower on the CT side like you'd normally see, but Vitality, it's just, you know, it's like flicking a switch. They all dive down into lower, and Brokey just gets overwhelmed, and from that point, when you're seeing some of these CTs get aggressive and get active, like we've seen from both teams, on the CT side here, you see Nico pushing on outside. There's no way that he can get down into lower in time to be able to contest Ts that are getting the bomb down there. I mean, that's just Nuke in a nutshell. The vent is such a quick rotation time between the bomb sites that you can't really contest that if you're on the extremities of the map.
Well, it's certainly not the FaZe we saw yesterday. They have some thinking to do here. Pistols will come out for the majority. Bit of utility to be purchased for Olofmeister. Obviously, he's got a bit of cash. Final tactical pause for FaZe here. What's the plan? How do we come back from the 8-14 deficit? Can you even come back from the 8-14 deficit? I'm of the mind that I would answer no.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think Vitality has been a pillar of consistency so far in this series, really stringing gun rounds together where it's needed. And that's what's so scary about it. FaZe, you know, they've been able to come away with that force in the second round. They've been able to get those pistols, but hasn't really been enough for them. Overall, Vitality's looked much better in the gun rounds on both sides of the map.
In fact, it won't be a purchase from FaZe. Obviously, they've invested a little bit, but...
I mean, look at what they did with that second round buy. They could do a lot with a little. If you have the two weapons and you have yourself a chance to be able to buy in the next round, why not be reasonably dangerous in this round with the couple of weapons purchased and an upgraded pistol and armor, and then be able to full buy into the next one as well. Give yourself two chances.
Olofmeister hasn't been looking too comfortable with the AWP so far this game, but does open the account nicely. Brokey only had a USP, so that's not too much of a loss for FaZe.
How does Vitality turn this 4-on-4 into a round win? do see FaZe getting antsy. It's the push in towards door and in towards hut. That's going to be something they have to deal with. But Vitality looks very cottoned on to this being a possibility.
Well, Rain should be able to get one there, and he does. Alex runs over coldzera. Still, the two weapons remain here for FaZe, and now Rain's got himself an SG. Job starting to get more difficult for Vitality. Shock's in a powerful position, but the bomb needs to be retrieved here by the remaining members of Vitality, and Rain putting the stolen SG to good use. Knows that he's got players all around him, has to take a challenge somewhere here or there, and inevitably falls into the crosshair of Alex.
Shox has the smoke for Annex here, but FaZe are going to get out before that even becomes a factor, so even though he drops it, it's not going to be helping them too much.
That said, Olofmeister's position actually isn't all that great right now. If Alex were to peek, Nico not able to cover him with that smoke being up, and Shox very sneaky. I don't know how he's gotten down there without being heard, but Olofmeister had no idea. And now it's on to Nico, 1v2. He was a legend yesterday for FaZe. He's going to have to step up and do it again now. 20 seconds for Vitality making their way onto the bomb side, and now bomb on the floor. It's Shox with a Mac 10, and Nico should surely know where he's coming from as he starts to back away. Shox can't get it done. And FaZe survive.
I just think it's inexplicable there why Alex just hard crosses when he has a Molotov and a flash to be able to hold on to. He could have dropped either of those. I'm not saying that I would have stopped Nico from killing him on the cross, but at least sort of throw off his aim there. You know, it took a couple seconds for Nico to calibrate that one onto the head. If you throw the flash in there, it's just going to increase your percentages a little bit. You know, you have it, why not use it? Maybe it would have been the difference between Alex crossing or not. Maybe it wouldn't have. End of the day, though, that's phenomenal play from Nico to just keep FaZe in the game. And this is a quick play onto upper. Vitality straight out the door.
coldzera shuts him down. Apex and ZywOo on the floor. Rain gets traded RPK. What's he doing? He's got all three. And it's Brokey now. 1 versus 3.
He's not even going for it. He's
how could you?
Tail tucked between his legs, pieced it straight into CT spawn, and that's what this game has not stopped delivering, Jordan. Every single round, just these players being so explosive in the mid-round from both teams. You know, you see one team open up with 2 entries or, you know, 2 defensive kills on the CT side, and Olofmeister just doubles up, or Nico, you know, comes back in the mid-round and multi-frags. That time it's RPK. This man's been an absolute beast for Vitality here. Unmeasurable impact. And that's going to give Vitality match point. Look at the money on FaZe. They still have that loss bonus built up, but it's not going to be enough for Nico, Rain, Olof. I mean, they don't even have the loss bonus built up, actually.
Man, that is bad. Yep. 4.9 for coldzera is the most cash in the back pocket.
I mean, look, it wouldn't be surprised to see FaZe make a buy like this work. I mean, they just did it in the previous round.
Yeah, but how many times? It's
not consistent. This is not gun rounds beating gun rounds. I almost feel like the rounds where FaZe are forced to thrive with the individual plays are the rounds where they're having the most success, and when they have to put together something a bit more cohesive with a proper buy and, you know, not rely on the individual skill as much, but rather the overall strategy is where Vitality seems to have the goods every time.
That was the expectation going into this game. Nico won't really do a whole lot to Shox on the cross there, just tagging him a little bit with the nade, which allows Shox down. Olofmeister watching the angle though. That is a sigh of relief for FaZe, I think. Start the round off 4v5.
Yep. See what the response will be from Vitality. A lot of players in towards lobby. You have Alex lurking on the outside. They're going to make the move in towards ramp, take some control, force some rotations, spread the CTs a little bit thinner so that they can exploit those weaknesses, catch them off on the rotations. That's a missed opportunity from Alex. Yeah. But there is a lot of map control here for Vitality. Apex already around to heaven. How's this happened?
Oh, how's he not got that kill under Rain? That's the even bigger question. Well, that said, RPK's got one. ZywOo is thinking, what has happened there? Seems to be not much of an issue at all, though, as Vitality are making short work of FaZe in this round until Brokey steps up and then gets clotheslined by Alex. It's a 2v1 now for Olofmeister with the AWP.
Vitality,
not an easy task.
They just put the brakes on. They wait for the peak to come out, but that's a sharp shot from Olof. But that's the information for ZywOo, and you best know that knowing where exactly Olofmeister was not very long ago is going to give him the opportunity to be able to get this bomb down and put himself in a post-plant position. Olof's heard him. He's quick on the chase, but he has no kit to work with, so he needs to find his tool.
I don't think he's going to be able to. ZywOo knows exactly where he is, and Olof! Oh, you could almost see that potential happening for Olaf there. A quick flick and a shotgun AWP, but it's not to be. 16-9 for Vitality on map 1, and that's FaZe's pick as